So in this first video, we're going to be covering a special visualization that I like to do with a lot of my clients and particularly with groups that I lead. I refer to it as the train ride. Now, this specific train ride today, you may not realize the exact purpose of, and if that's the case, that's fine. But later on in this program, I'm going to be covering how you can use the same exact process yourself. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. But before we do that, I do want to remind you that with hypnosis, you want to be more cognizant of your environment. So make sure that the environment around you is distraction-free and that you are not in charge of any machinery, children, or anything like that that requires your responsibility. Be in a place and a time where you can take 15-20 minutes to yourself without any distractions or worries. Excellent. And keep in mind too that you want to make sure that if you're sitting in a chair, it's a chair that can support you, because a lot of times when people do hypnosis, they're going to get more relaxed and slack than they would if they were just sitting. I personally like to lay down when I do hypnosis, but I know some people fall asleep, so keep that in mind. If you fall asleep while you're laying down with hypnosis, maybe try sitting on a couch or a lazy boy or something like that. Okay, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So go ahead and take in a nice, long, slow, deep breath. And at the top, hold it for a count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Excellent. And as you release, go ahead and just let your mind and body begin to relax as an act of will. Go ahead and take in another nice, long, slow, deep breath. Holding it again at the top for a count of 3. And this time, when you release, go ahead and close your eyes. And as you do, let that feeling of relaxation begin to double. And I'm not exactly sure how relaxed you're beginning to feel, or how relaxed you felt before it doubled, or exactly what doubling means for you. But it's not really important for me now to tell you exactly what you need to pay attention to as you're finding yourself relaxing more and more deeply. So, go ahead and with your eyes closed, raise your eyes toward the ceiling. So raise your eyes toward the ceiling, keep your eyes closed, and go ahead and just hold it. Hold it. Hold it for a little bit longer. That's right, just a moment longer. And go ahead and release your eyes. And as you do, feel that feeling of relaxation starting to spread further and further across your body. And as you do, allow yourself to remember back to yesterday, back to what we were talking about, back to how you felt, back to what it sounded like to hear my words, back to what it felt like to hear my words, back to seeing the things you saw in your mind as you feel more and more relaxed. Now, I'm not really sure exactly how relaxed you're beginning to feel now. I do know that it gets easier and easier to feel relaxed as you do these exercises. So just know that with every day that passes, you'll more and more easily find yourself able to enter this state, and more easily find yourself able to enjoy this state, realizing, seeing, and learning just exactly what it is that you learned so deeply and profoundly here, now, with me. It's like it's so easy to just let go and to recognize that your unconscious now will take control. And that's okay, because the vast majority of our lives are spent with our conscious minds being in control. And one way that this becomes really obvious is when you think about addition versus multiplication. A lot of people, when they add things together, literally visualize it in their mind. 4 plus 4, 8. And they run through a process of making the numbers work in their mind. And that's how they add things together. And for instance, if I asked you what's 312 plus 618, unless you're a polymath, you're probably not going to see the answer right away. It's probably going to have to be put together in your mind really quickly for you to make sense of what that number actually is. Now, on the same token, I want you to think about, what's 7 times 3? And if you're like most people, the only thing that popped up was the answer. This is because, as children, we spend a lot of time memorizing multiplication tables. We spend a lot of time memorizing series of numbers. And this is why it just pops right up for us. Whereas addition is something that we have to really think through. Even simple addition and subtraction, like if Johnny has 3 apples and Joni takes 1, then how many apples does Johnny have left? Exactly. It takes just a little bit of mental work. It's not really there when you start to multiply things. Unless you reach a point where, of course, you hit the end of your multiplication tables. And then it becomes a process of having to work through it again. You know, like if I asked you what's 127 times 14, that's probably not something you're going to instantly come up with an answer to. It's something you're going to have to think about. But what's interesting is that inside the series of numbers that you've already thought about, there are things you haven't yet thought about. For instance, when you multiply 7 by 1, you get 7. When you multiply 7 by 2, you get 14. When you multiply 7 by 3, you get 21. And when you multiply 7 by 4, you get 28. 7 by 5, you get 35. 7 by 6, you get 42. So I wonder if you've noticed this in what I've said to you, but there's a repeating structure in the numbers of that multiplication table. So you got 7, 14, 28. So we got 7, 4, 8. Next, we have 8, 5, 3, 2. Excuse me. So the numbers go 7, 4, 1, 8, 5, 2, 9, 6, 3, 10, 7, 4. Right? But they don't. They go 0, 4, 0, 7, 4. And so what's interesting is that, algorithmically speaking, numbers in multiplication tables have a certain rhythm to how you interact with them. They have a certain rhythm to how they spell things out. And this is why things have incredible mathematical equivalency. But again, this is only important in regards to how it works in relation to your mind. Unconscious phenomena is very much like multiplication tables. It's the usage of things that your mind always already knew how to do. And so you come into a moment and experience something in hypnosis because your mind knows how to do that thing. And that's something that's important to keep in mind as you drift deeper and deeper into this state. So something I want you to think about is how easy it is to feel relaxed while you're working with something like hypnosis. Because the more you listen to me, the more relaxed you become. And the more relaxed you become, the easier it is to drift deeper into this relaxing state. Now, I'm not sure whether or not you're feeling as relaxed as you could, but it's not really important because the rest of this experience should serve to help put you deeper and deeper into this relaxing state. But before we move on, something I want you to notice is that with every breath you take, you'll find yourself feeling more and more relaxed. And with every word that I speak, you'll find yourself drawn further and further into this experience. It's as if my words, my voice, this experience is becoming more and more encompassing as it continues on. Just noticing how everything else starts to disappear. Noticing that external noises serve only to put you deeper and deeper into the state, with the exception of alarms. So now, just allow yourself to keep drifting and floating and floating and drifting. And as you do, imagine that you are coming up a big hill. And as you're walking up that hill, or driving up that hill, or however you're getting up that hill, notice that you have a suitcase with you. Notice that you've brought along baggage as if you're headed out on a trip. And now this is a very, very special trip that you're going to take by yourself. This isn't to say that this trip is going to be completely secluded and alone, or that you'll be completely alone, but rather that there'll be no one you know, and there'll be no one you'll find yourself wanting to interact with for very long. Because this trip is really about you. And that's why you're here today, with me, headed up this hill, headed toward the beautiful train. And I'm not sure exactly how soon over the course of the next 30 seconds or so you'll see the train, whether you see it now, or in a few moments from now. But once you see that train, I want you to notice two things about it. First, I want you to notice what color it is. Next, allow yourself to notice how you feel about the train, and whether or not that train is really as close as it seems. Because I want you to allow yourself to get right next to that train, and to notice that as you do, you have your baggage with you in tow. You're carrying that luggage along with you. And just let yourself enter the train. Feel yourself walking up the stairs. Look around. Just notice. Is the train rustic? Is it antique? Is it well kept? Or a little bit old? Take a look around. Just notice what you see. How's the temperature in the room? Is it cool? Or is it just right? And as you're walking through the train, noticing what you see, what you feel, and what you hear around you, notice that there's a very specific seat on this train that's just waiting for you. And go ahead and walk to that seat. And as you do, put your luggage in the luggage carrier nearby, and just deposit your baggage in that luggage carrier. And just notice how that feels as you take your seat on the train and begin to relax more and more. Noticing that as you do, the train begins to move. You can hear it starting to make the whistles and hearing the noises beginning to get louder and louder as the train starts moving faster and faster. And as the train begins to move, go ahead and take a look outside. Take a look out your window. And just notice what you see. As you look out the window and watch the landscape go by, what are you noticing? Are you seeing animals? Just some plants? Maybe a city? Maybe a whole lot of nothing. Whatever it is, just take a look out the window and allow your mind to just drift and float and daydream for a moment. Allow your mind to really think about how you want your life to be when you get back from this train ride. Think to yourself about who you want to be when you get back from this train ride. What does that look like? What does it feel like? What kind of results are you getting in your life now that you've really allowed yourself to become this person here on this train? And as you do, just allow yourself to really let go and experience that. Take all the time you need over the next 30 seconds or so to explore just what that means for yourself. Excellent. So go ahead and let that mental scene fade and take a look around you, back on that train. Now noticing how great it feels and how far you've come, how far you've gone from where you began. Noticing that as you take a quick glance out the window, it seems as if hours and maybe even days have passed by, while you've become more and more who you wanted to be here on this train. And notice that as the train begins to slow down to a stop, you can feel the train just gently drifting to a stopping place. And as you notice that feeling, go ahead and step up and retrieve your baggage from the luggage carrier, noticing how heavy this old series of baggage feels. And as you carry that baggage with you off the train, just notice that as you walk down the street toward your destination, it gets easier and easier to notice how relaxed you've really allowed yourself to feel now that you've taken this stress-relieving train ride. So take a look around the place where you've arrived. I'm not sure whether it's just a little villa, whether it's a city, whether it's a realistic place, a place you've seen in a game or a movie. I'm really not sure what it looks like, which is why I want you to just look around and notice for yourself exactly what it looks like there, where you are, now that you've arrived. So take a look around and just walk through the city, noticing how tired you're feeling from a long day of travel. And as you do, go ahead and enter the hotel or the place that you will be staying here for the duration of your stay. And as you do, go ahead and just notice yourself settling in opening up your luggage, taking out all of the old baggage that you have inside of it, emptying out all of that baggage, and putting it in to the drawers of the hotel, or just stacking it neatly, or organizing it however makes sense for the place that you'll be staying. Now, imagine that you lay down and go to sleep. And as you sleep, you can imagine and remember all of the beautiful times that you had while you were on this trip. And just allow yourself to remember waking up the next day, getting up, pulling out some of that old baggage, really putting it on, and exploring the city, town, villa, or space. And as you do, noticing that you're feeling better and better until you get to the hotel room or the place that you're spending your nights. And just notice that as you disrobe and take off one piece of that baggage, the piece of that baggage you wore all day today, it just poofs into flame and disappears. Now allow yourself to go to sleep and wake up the next day. And as you do, get up, open the drawers or reach down and find a piece of that baggage that was in your luggage and put it on for the day. Go explore the city, and again, as you come back, notice that at the end of the day, that article of clothing just disappears. And allow yourself to lay down and then go to sleep. And as you do, let your mind imagine that you had an entire 30 days of vacation here in this special place in your mind. Every day you woke up, put on a little bit of that baggage, went outside, did something amazing, came back, and poof, it was gone. That happened to you 30 times. And just allow yourself to feel how excellent it feels to really, really let go of all of that stuff. And to notice that as you're waking up in this special location, you look into your luggage and you notice that there is no baggage left. Isn't that incredible? That you could go on vacation and use up all of your baggage. So go ahead and take that empty piece of luggage and look at it and allow yourself to recognize that in the place of all of that old hurt, all of that old pain, and all of that baggage, in its place is now mementos, experiences, memories from this trip, from your entire life, memories of the things that you've collected on your journeys, on your adventures, on your travels. Because really, if you're going to carry something around with you, it should be good, should it not? So just look in that piece of luggage and notice how everything in it makes you feel good, reminds you of how far you've come, the person who you are, and who you're becoming, now that you've let go of all of that baggage. It feels incredible to just let yourself continue to drift further and further into this state. Now doesn't it seem easier and easier to just continue to let go of any baggage that maybe you didn't bring with you on this trip, but is ready to go? Because anything that arises for you during this special trip is only there to serve to put you deeper into this state and to help you to let go and move forward in order to become the person you want to become. Now, go ahead and pick up that luggage. Feel how great it feels. How much lighter it feels to just be carrying the good things and to have let go of all of those burdens that were holding you back, weighing you down, making life feel so heavy. Now, let yourself check out of the hotel, pack up your tents, or hug your friends goodbye. It's really not important how exactly you begin to descend and leave from this place. But however you do it, just make sure that it feels natural and right for you. And as you do, walk back toward that familiar train, that familiar, beautiful train. You can smell the smell of smoke and the smell of train exhaust. You can see the train in front of you. And as you walk closer to it, allow yourself to just walk up the stairs, feeling each foot on the step, feeling yourself walk up each step and into the train, noticing that there's one specific seat that calls out to you. And as you sit down in that seat and put your new luggage in the luggage carrier, let out a deep sigh of relief. Just noticing how great everything can feel now that you've let go of that baggage. Excellent. So go ahead now and just allow yourself to enjoy the train ride back. The train ride back to reality. So go ahead and take a look out the window, seeing what you see, hearing what you hear as the train begins to power up and begins to move away from the station as the chugga 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 gets louder and louder, as the train begins to move faster and faster, as you're watching the scenery go by out the window. So take as much time as you need over the next 60 seconds or so to allow yourself to return back to waking consciousness, bringing with you the feelings of relaxation and stress relief that this trip has given you, so that by the time that you arrive back here, fully awake at the train station, you'll be wide awake, keeping these feelings with you. So just notice what it's like as your mind drifts and floats higher and higher up, closer and closer to reality. And allow it to just think about whatever it needs to think about as you're looking out that train window now. So go ahead and just let your mind drift and do what it needs to do as it rises higher and higher here with me now. I'm going to give you a couple of moments to just allow yourself to make it back to the train station. That's right. Excellent. And just notice that as the train is pulling up to the station now, and you're walking toward the exit, as you walk down the stairs and off the train, your eyes will open back up, and you'll find yourself back here, feeling wide awake, totally ready to take on the rest of your day, feeling incredible. And I'm so glad that you're back here with me, wide awake. If you're finding yourself not as awake as you'd like to be, get up, get a glass of water, make a sandwich, do some jumping jacks. Maybe call a friend, walk up and down a staircase, do something like that to get back in your body. But otherwise, go out there today and enjoy the rest of your day. It's going to be an incredible day.